Hey everybody, can you hear me? Yeah, perfect. No, I'm so glad to be her favorite person, and the reason why is, how many of you have been to Turkey? Turkey? Okay. How many of you have experienced inflation in Turkey? Living live proof of experiencing it every day. Inflation is what, about 100%? Over 100% there. And that's sort of the main reason why I set up Trueflation with a group of, I'm going to put my coffee here because when you take a picture of me, maybe it's not so good I'm holding a cup of coffee. But yeah, when we launched Trueflation, it was basically, we were seeing price changes that were not being reflected in the announcements that we were hearing from governments. And that's why we launched Trueflation. And why did we do that? We also felt that by tracking and keeping governance honest, that we could be able to bring data on the blockchain and make that available to whoever wants to use the data to make better decisions. If you're a restaurant owner, if you're a coffee barista, you need to know how your prices are changing and how you need to adapt changes to that. And so that's why we launched Trueflation. And it's the green button on the top. There you go. What does Trueflation look like? I'm just going to go into this quickly. I'm not going to go too detailed, but we aggregate now from about 60 different sources, not just 50. We then turn that around on a daily basis, and then we spit that out into some 12 categories that then go across 6 different blockchains. Those 12 categories all sum up to one headline CPI index, or the true CPI index, which is what we call. CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. There you go. And what has it looked like, right? Since money printer go burr in the US, 23% of your income has dropped. You now, today, have 23% less salary unless you got a pay rise in those last 3 years. Or you have a hidden tax of 23%. Or some could say is, you're buying 23% less eggs. And we just felt that that needed to be reflected in the world so people start learning what really and how inflation does impact everybody on a day-to-day basis. We also believe that inflation is here to stay. It's not going away. It's structural. What does that mean? We're seeing a lot of shift around the world in terms of resources, in terms of onshoring, in terms of tariffs, in terms of trade barriers. And all of that means that we are increasing our cost basis to deleverage from economies of scale. So we don't get the same economies of scale by mass production and being able to ship products around the world, one manufacturing, one cost basis, one base infrastructure asset that we can then distribute the costs from. No, we have to have multiple factories, multiple research labs, multiple, supply chain gets lower, but you need different supply chain companies to do that, etc. And so as a result, we will be experiencing a inflation level in the 3 to 5%. The 2% we believe is a dream, and we will see that go up, especially as interest rate goes up as well. And so this is the new normal. And so what do we do with that? Right now, our calculation is 2.55. The government tells you 3.7. So we're in the range, if we believe our numbers, that are in the 2% range that all the governments continue to talk about. Now, who lives in the UK here? Anybody in England? Yeah, so unfortunately, if you go to the website and you click on the UK numbers, you're experiencing a 10% inflation, right? 9-point-something%. So inflation in the UK is much worse and has been for a longer period of time. And it's been up at 20% at one point in time, but it's coming down. But so we just actually try to bring you true reflection of what your costs are like living in that specific market. And as a result, what does that mean, right? We saw fiat continuously depreciating. How do you protect yourself against this inflation? What do you do? Where can you put your money? How do you protect your wealth? You've seen Bitcoin grow, but Bitcoin's become a speculative asset, and gold hasn't really worked out. And more importantly, you cannot carry the gold with you. You can carry on a ledger stick, you can carry your Bitcoin with you, but you don't want to spend it. You know, I spent most of my career building out payment mechanisms. I believed in Bitcoin so much that the peer-to-peer electronic cash system was going to become a reality. And I focused my whole career on doing that. I was the CEO of Bitcoin.com. We scaled that to 20 million wallets. We had 500,000 merchants that would accept Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum as payment. So you could go to the supermarket, you could go to the restaurant, you could even buy a car with your Bitcoin. But nobody wants to be the person that spent 10,000 Bitcoins buying a pizza. Because now, 10,000 Bitcoins, at the time, it was 40 cents. But today, it's, what's the price today? 27,000, 28,000? So 10,000 times 28,000, pretty expensive pizzas, right? And that's one thing that I realized very quickly. No matter how fast and how efficient the payment rails, and we used Bitcoin Cash as the payment rails. Why? Because it was instantaneously. They did all the transactions in mempools. And then it was no fees, so it was super cheap. And so ultimately, you could compete against the credit card, which charged you 3% fees, actually maybe 5% because you had to pay a commission to the POS provider. And then they also charged you, it took a while to settle, 30 days. So if you could do that settlement at a low cost basis, you could do that very competitively. But nobody wanted to use Bitcoin. And that's why stablecoins came about, right? So stablecoins were a big answer to that. So stablecoins emerged, and today, if you look on any of the market caps and you look at not the volume, not the market cap of a stablecoin, but look at the volume. Tether does 24 billion in trades in a bear market. And it's the highest volume out of all the crypto assets available today. So stablecoins, there is a huge demand for stablecoins, but Tether is centralized, USDC is centralized. Very little in terms of the decentralized market cap out there. The second element is they're both dependent on US dollars. So the US dollars is still the de facto standard for all of stablecoins out there. It's also 87% of world trade is denominated in US dollars. So it is still de facto the global currency. Hence, we have Flatcoins. Enter the Flatcoin. Brian Armstrong has advocated Flatcoins and has really brought this up. Although the first generation of Flatcoins was actually, or the origination of Flatcoins was a coin termed by Balaji. Balaji's an investor in Trueflation as well, and so that's part of our thinking in terms of why we believe that Flatcoins is going to be the new stablecoin. Why? The market cap today for stablecoins is only about 70 billion. That's not to take into account the daily volume trade, right? So if you look at the volume and you multiply that over a year, you're looking at significant transaction volumes that happen using stablecoins. In the stablecoin market today, you have decentralized stablecoins out there, and they're only about a $4 billion market cap in terms of TVL that they have, market cap that they have. So very small portion of the overall stablecoin market is in decentralized, over-collateralized stablecoins. And where's this going to go? We think that that portion in the next 3 years is going to be replaced by flat coins. So flat coins are going to become a whole new environment in a market that's going to grow 10x. Why is it going to grow 10x? By the way, it's not only going to be stable coins in there, you're going to have CBDCs that are going to come in there, right? They're going to be playing in this market, but it's going to grow significantly. Stable coins is going to be a big market. It's a very lucrative market, and it's a very interesting market as well. And it's going to come with a lot of regulatory hurdles, but if it were easy, everybody would be doing it, right? And we're here to solve challenges, not to go after easy opportunities, although we love easy opportunities. But we've built the first flat coin. We launched Nuon. It's a synthetic perpetual tied to inflation. So you don't lose your value. You retain your value. We see it as a store of value, a medium of exchange, a unit of account. But more importantly, it's over-collateralized. So it's not fractional reserve banking. It's over-collateralized. And it's decentralized. So we've put everything on the blockchain. We've also partnered with Chainlink. We announced CCIP partnership with Chainlink. So you can now, it's running on Arbitrum. You can actually go and stake your collateral on Arbitrum and mint on Ethereum. Of course, you can mint on Arbitrum as well, but you can mint on Ethereum, and you can mint on Base as well. We work very closely with Coinbase as well, who are an investor in Truflation as well. So there's a big desire to see new Flatcoins emerge, and one of the assets that's needed in order to launch a Flatcoin is the ability to calculate and update on a daily basis your inflation numbers authentically. And that's why we've done that. And you can see here that we're not the only Flatcoin out there. There are other derivatives around this. You can see there's international stablecoin. They have commodities as the underlying asset backing a coin that they've issued. They have equities. You have Davos trying to do a similar thing with liquid staking. You have Spot. They use their endogenous tokens to issue an inflation-protected coin. What does endogenous mean? It means that they're using the Ample token to then issue the Spot token. Reflexer is not quite a stable coin. It is a stable coin, sorry, but it's not quite a flat coin. It's using Ethereum assets as its collateral to then mint, but no US dollar denominated coins. And then Frax Price Index, they're using Frax as the collateral, and they're then issuing, tying it to the BLS numbers, which comes out monthly. So there's a big cost for them on a monthly basis to rebase. They're using a rebasing strategy where they then issue FPIS tokens to those holders of Frax to adjust for inflation. But they do that on a monthly basis, which costs them a lot of money. But there are different initiatives taking place, is all I'm trying to say with this, around trying to build out this Flatcoin market. How do we at Nuon build this out? So we have users that then stake their crypto assets and then put that into a collateral hub, all locked into the blockchain. And that then allows them to borrow at 0% interest. You can borrow Nuon. You can then go and participate in DeFi protocols. You can use it for remittances. You can add it to liquidity pools. And we have what we call a dynamic NFT that gives you your dynamic statement. How much collateral do you have? How much have you minted? And that changes based on the value of the collateral and the peg price tied to the actual Nuon that you've minted. And then rather than going back through that whole process and doing the reverse, you can just go to OpenSea and trade your NFT, your dynamic NFT, because it has a determined value that fluctuates with the market value. And so you save a lot in terms of aggro, in terms of time, and then much more in terms of convenience. We have other assets that we've added to this, but you can read all of that here. I won't go into that too much. And ultimately, how can we do this? Truflation provides the source of truth. We're using the Truflation API to be able to read what is the peg price. There's the formula that we've done, and this is how we make it work from a Nuon perspective. The peg price is what defines the market tradable price that people can go and trade it on when they buy and sell it. And basically, it's US dollar plus Truflation or minus Truflation equals the price of the market. So we then have mechanisms to incentivize the buying and the selling, or the minting or the redeeming of the tokens to manage supply in the marketplace. So similar to the way a MakerDAO would do that. To avoid a data spiral or price drop, we have a stability pool. And the stability pool is very similar to what you experience when you have liquidity. And then we have an interest rate controller to, again, incentivize the minting and incentivize the burning in the event that it breaks the thresholds. And so in those events, we then have the interest rate controller kicks in, and you see that in the case of how Arai uses and manages their market price. Those are capabilities that we've built and put together. We've audited those, and we work with a number of different crypto assets. So we didn't want US dollar in the collateral hub. We just wanted digital assets. Why do people want to use Nuon? Because there's no interest on it. You get yield on your collateral. So we work with Aave and Aave pools to provide yield on the collateral that you put in there. And you get rewards for providing collateral. There are fees that you earn from the protocol by providing collateral as well. So we're trying to incentivize users to do that. And then we have one aspect that a lot of people say, oh, well, why would I do that? Why wouldn't I go and borrow dollars? Because if I pay back dollars, and in an inflationary market, I pay them back a year later, they're worth 10% less, so I pay back less. But what a lot of people don't realize is that actually, when you're borrowing that dollar, so if you go to Aave and you borrow dollars, you're paying 4, 5, 6, 7%. And that is usually always higher than inflation. And that's why we think that not only are you protecting yourself against deflation, so you can hodl the coin because you don't need to urgently go spend it, but you can actually make sure that it's a better value proposition than you're getting at other lending protocols. And we also see the opportunity not just in inflation. So we always thought it's only got to be CPI and it's got to be inflation protected. That's why it's flat, because you always retain your purchasing power. But if you think about it, it's a synthetic asset being a token, pegged to the cost of living. What happens if it were pegged to the price of oil? So ultimately, you have all of a sudden created a market where you've got derivatives tied to oil, tied to wheat, tied to sugar. Who heard of orange juice? Everybody drinks orange juice in the morning? Yeah, there you go, orange juice. So the price of orange juice, if you go, the price of orange juice this last 12 months has jumped 3x. So you could have actually bought a derivative based on orange juice that would allow you to buy an orange juice today at the same price you bought it a year ago, or you could have sold it in the marketplace and made 2, 3x on that. And imagine, in the commodities world, they're used to 500x leverage. So that's a whole different ballgame in terms of opportunities and in terms of market where the potential for Flatcoins can go. And that's why we think in the next couple of years, this is very easily going to be a $10 billion market opportunity. And if we look at the quadrillions, I think all of you have seen Sergey's slide around quadrillions in the derivatives market. Now imagine those become Flatcoins across all the different derivatives. We can easily see a huge opportunity in the space of Flatcoins. Hope that was interesting for you. We continue to innovate and build at Truflation, and hopefully we can build products that all of you guys like, and we love working together with Chainlink in making these products a reality, safe, secure, and stable for you. So thank you. In these unbelievable times, we require believable data. Thank you.